use running. If you do, you won't survive. People are sick and people are tired, but inside of me rages a fire. We the people are going to burn this corruption to the ground. Yeah, we the people will fight fire with fire starting now. You can see every day more and more people like me are breaking the chains of slavery. America's at a breaking point. Once we strike that match, there's no way to turn back. We the people are gonna burn this corruption to the ground. Yeah, we the people will fight fire with fire starting now. We the people are going to burn this corruption to the ground. Yeah, we the people will fight fire with fire starting now. Gonna watch them run, gonna watch it burn, gonna watch it all come down. Yeah, we the people are gonna burn this corruption to the ground. Yeah, we the people will fight fire with fire starting now. Oh, gonna watch them run, gonna watch it burn, gonna watch it all come down. Yeah.
All right, welcome to LWN Network tonight, folks. Got a great show planned for you. Two amazing guests. They've been on many a times. Co-host Tammy the Hammer Nation, and of course the one and the only Jeff B tonight with us. So stay tuned, buckle up. We got a lot to cover. I see a lot of comments in chat. Yeah, Facebook is down. It's gone. Probably not going to get it back. I'm going to end up starting a new channel over there on Facebook. And as soon as I do, Tammy, the mods, everybody will be putting out the links to that so you guys can find us again on Facebook. But right now we're live on YouTube, Rumble, and this is the first time I've been live on X in quite a while. Tammy's been doing an excellent job with Headline Hits, and she's been live on the X now since they took Facebook down a couple weeks almost. So glad to see people over there on X. I'm on X right now watching us live. There's me and one other person in there, so glad to see you joining us tonight. And you guys can go ahead and comment on X too. I think I'll throw a comment there in X and see if it pops up on our screen over here in chat. But we can see everybody's comments there in Rumble and, of course, YouTube. We're still trying to build YouTube. I nuked it. They've taken us down a million times. So anytime you guys can hit that like button, subscribe, and more importantly, share us out on any of those platforms, it really helps our channel. And we are working hard for you guys. Every day, Tammy is doing Headline Hits Monday through Thursday. And then, of course, I've got Wolfpack Sunday, and we got a show coming up this Sunday, so don't miss it. We're going to be talking about I'm going to have to bring Tammy in and even have her help me pronounce the damn words. So anyway, we got a show planned for Sunday, so you're not going to want to miss that. And then, again, as soon as I get a YouTube or a Facebook channel back up and running, I'll put that out there for you guys so you can follow us over there. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring in both our special guests, my co-host, Tammy the Hammer Nation, and, of course, Jeff B. And we've got a lot to cover tonight. We're going to run about an hour or hour and a half. Just kind of depends on what the conversation is going to be tonight. But with that being said, hello, Tammy. Hello, Jeff B. And how are you both doing this evening?
I am all fired up and so excited to have the show tonight because I can let loose. When I do headline hits, it's like hit the headlines, move on. And I find myself starting to give my opinion and talk further. And I know I'm not supposed to because it's a headline hits show. Now, tonight we've got the big Jeff B here so we can go deeper into all the stuff I want to go deeper into. So I am fired up.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear from Jeff B. If the big chair has anything that is going to be added into the conversation tonight. And of course, Jeff B is here to help connect some of the dots. And we got a lot of questions for Jeff tonight. It's going to be a fun time. Jeff, how have you been? How's Ohio? And what you been up to?
It was pretty warm. It was about 85. I'm not ready for this. So, other than that, everything's going good. Just interesting to watch everything unfold.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it is. Lots of unfolding. Tammy, just for you guys know, if you guys haven't watched Headline Hits, if this is your first time to LWN Network, or maybe you've been here a long time and you don't have time to catch Headline Hits, I'm telling you, Tammy is damn near a day ahead of Newsmax, Fox, CNN, ABC, CBS, all the news channels. If you guys want a little bit of news that's ahead of everyone else, you really should tune in at noon Eastern Standard Time for Headline Hits. You can catch us on YouTube. You can catch us on the X. You can catch us on Rumble. We'll be back on Facebook here very soon. But Tammy is always, she's always sending me stuff. She's always basically letting everybody know what's coming down the pipeline before it ever hits, right, Tammy?
Yeah, I do it. I mean, I go to sleep at night and I lay down, I pick up my phone and I'm like scrolling through and I'm like, save, because even though if I do prep the night before, I still have to do it the next morning because things change. And we're going to talk about that tonight. The news cycle is not 24 hours anymore. It's minutes and hours. It's incredible how fast the news cycle moves. So I want to make sure that people have the background of the story, which the background is the night before, and then the up to minute that morning because it does change. So it is a good challenge, and I'm not always going to catch everything, but guaranteed the stuff that I do catch, know that I do the best to give you the complete story and all the information on what I do cover. So it is a privilege and fun to do it. It's a challenge each and every day.
Yeah, I miss doing Headline Hits. I was off for 2 weeks. I did do one with Tammy, and I wanted to do more, but I just had a lot of projects going on here around the house. I did make a comment there in the live chat on the X, and it does pop up here on screen. So for any of you who might happen to be catching us live on the X right now, if you want to join, there's like 5 people in there right now. If you guys want to join us in the live chat, you can go ahead and jump in live chat, make some comments. It comes up here on our screen in the software, and we can respond to questions or comments or whatever. But just fun live interaction if you've never experienced this before. We've been doing this for well over 4 years now. Matter of fact, last month was I'm going into my 5th season now. It was my 4th year. I completed my 4th year last month. Been doing this for quite a while. Really enjoy it. Tammy's been with me at least 3 years. You came in the first year, later in the year, but Jeff B has been with me since the very first month. You know, we went live, and about a month in, here comes this guy, had no freaking clue who he was, just knew he smoked a cigar, knew some of the background he shared with us, and wow, we were off to the races. That was forever ago, Jeff B.
Yeah, sorry about those last 5 years.
And I'm going to say, look what the years have done to us. We're all gray. We were young spring chickens when we started. Look what happens.
I was 24 years old when we started this 4 years ago. Now I'm 50.
It's crazy. The time flies, though, when you're having fun and you're keeping track of all this stuff for sure.
Absolutely. Well, Jeff, I think I'm going to let ladies go first tonight with Tammy. I'll let her get started with some conversation, and then I'll let you chime in. And I definitely have some questions for you. So, Tammy, anything that you want to kick off with tonight?
Well,
Captain Finger. Hold on just a second. I definitely want to address Zoe Bonnie. Yes, Captain Finger was there from about day 5 or 6. Captain Finger showed up in my chat, and and we had many a conversations. And I tell you what, that man, one of my good friends, and he was here the whole time, and he is greatly missed. And I loved seeing him and Jeff B go back and forth, banner back and forth. Was just, he's missed. That I just want to address that. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
No, I was going to do the same very thing. So that's awesome. But I saw a comment in the chat. So let's start with the comment, because we love to hear your comments. We love to hear what you're thinking, and we love to have the conversation with you guys joining us. It's not like we're know-it-alls and we don't care what you have to say. So somebody said, let's give our opinions of Pam Bondi. So I'd like to start there.
Okay.
So Pam Bondi, Kash Patel. I had this long conversation with a mutual friend of ours, who is an internet specialist and works behind the scenes through the government and whatnot. He gives us his name, however, it's not his real name. And we had this conversation about Pam Bondi and Kash Patel, and his opinion is they both need to go. He said they are sitting there with these positions. They don't really know what they're doing. They're kind of in the glory of, I have this position, but they're not taking action. I don't know if I agree with that 100%, but that's what he feels. This guy who deals with the government, deals with internet things with the government and whatnot, says they need to go. I'm giving her a little bit more grace time. I'm not thrilled with what she did with the Epstein files at all. I'm not really impressed with the actions she's taking that I've seen she's taken. She gives a good talk. She gives a good speech, but there is a due process. There is a process they have to follow. The same with Kash Patel. So that is my opinion on Pam Bondi. I'm not super impressed with her. I had high hopes for Kash Patel as well. Not super impressed yet, but I'm going to hold it back because there is a process to follow. And that's where I'd like to start, like your opinions about both of them, Mike and Jeff.
All right. Well, I want to do a shout out to Tennessee Tim. Is that who we're doing? Tennessee Tim, if you're watching tonight, hello. And glad that you've been a long time listener, watcher, follower, and hope you guys have a good time with your plans in the future. So, Jeff B., your thoughts on Pam Bondi and Kash Patel?
Well, I was in the same boat this guy was. I know Cash's background, Pam Bondi being the AG down in Florida. But after reading an executive order that Trump wrote on March 25th, it makes sense why Kash Patel and Pam Bondi aren't doing anything. So Trump wrote an executive order. Let me get my notes here. 14248. And what that executive order does is that's removing anything that was in 13848, this forfeiture of assets, election interference, is removing that out of DOJ under Article 2, Section 2 of the Constitution, which is Presidential Powers Act. Moving it over into national security. So, Tulsi Gabbard and the U.S. military can handle any of this stuff.
Okay, don't give too much away, Jeff.
Okay,
it's the beginning of the show. Don't give too much away. Let me give my opinion, and I definitely want to come back to Tammy and Jeff, and we'll move on. And Jeff has things that he wants to tell you guys tonight, but I want to slow it down a little bit and make it last, and not shoot it all out in the first 10, 15 minutes, and then everybody wants to leave. So yeah, I'm frustrated with Pam Bondi. Kash Patel. I was super excited when they got appointed. I was super excited when they said, all right, we're going to release the Epstein list. Super disappointed when that hasn't been done yet. And before everybody starts blowing up my chat and getting upset with what I'm saying is I want to see the truth. I think everybody wants to see the truth. And are we being impatient? Is there more to this than what meets the eye? Yeah, but we've been saying that for 4 or 5 years now, and it's getting old to say that, right? So I just wish this is my thought. Quit saying that you're going to release it to the public tomorrow and not do it. If you're running that part of this operation, meaning the FBI and DOJ, then quit putting statements out there and giving people dates, because then we get upset when that shit doesn't happen, right? So don't do that. And do I think that they're still investigating? This is where I put trust in. I put my trust in Dan Bongino. Dan Bongino is deputy director of the FBI, so he's number 2 right under Kash Patel. Dan Bongino, 3 or 4 days ago, I had this conversation with Tammy, and Dan Bongino put a statement out and said, listen, folks, there's a lot to this. There's a lot more to this than what you guys are seeing, and there's a lot of investigation going on, and we can't just put it out there. And so what I'm telling my viewers tonight, what I'm telling the listeners is I trust what Dan Bongino is telling us. I really do. Do I trust Kash Patel and Pam Bondi? There's trust there, but it's not as high of trust that I have in Dan Bongino. I believe that Dan Bongino is there for all the right reasons, and I believe Kash Patel is too. And it's super frustrating not getting what they've told us that we were going to see, like the Epstein list. I mean, the Epstein list is going to change the world, right? Just like P Daddy's freaking list is going to change the world. This is world changing, life changing. And it's going to lead us into more questions that I'm going to ask Jeff B about later in the show about Gitmo. So I guess to answer Tammy's questions is I'm still frustrated, but I'm going to wait. I'm going to be a little more patient, and I'm going to, and we're going to talk about Flynn too tonight. So hold on to your horses for that one too. But I will trust Dan Bongino until he proves me wrong. I'll leave it there. Whoever wants to pick up next, go ahead.
Well, I'm going to say I can agree with that as well. But listen, Pam Bondi knew what she was saying when she said she had all the papers on her desk and they were going to release them. That was not a faux pas. That wasn't inexperience. That was her saying she had what she needed and we were going to see it. So therein, we are already doubtful of our government. We're seeing what's going on with these judges, which we're going to talk about a little bit as well. So for her to come out, first big case, first big deal, first big spiel, and to have it like an inflated balloon at a birthday party was not a good taste in many people's mouths. And I can't blame people for doubting her. And
I agree, Tammy. Jeff B, go ahead, circle back.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think there's doubt in the whole cabinet. I mean, look at the first cabinet. We had all these high expectations, and granted, Trump was new to D.C., and he was given, in my opinion, some wrong advice in cabinet members. Now, there are some cabinet members that were there that aren't there this time that I believe are in different roles. But, I mean, Trump knows he only has 4 years.
correct.
Mm-hmm.
There's some crazy nonsense that goes on. I don't think he's going to be fooled like he was the first go round, because a lot more people now are expecting more out of him.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you this question, Jeff B. I believe that Donald Trump, his first administration, he shit the bed. What do I mean by that? I mean he really had no, because he's not a politician, and I love the guy for that. He went in his first term. He didn't really know what he was doing, so he had people around him in his circle that I think were horrible. And that's what I mean by he shit the bed. You know, he just had some really horrible people advising him first term. And so my question to Jeff B tonight is, do you feel like he really learned his lesson the first term? Are there still people in his cabinet that were kind of like scratching their heads going, are you sure you want that pick? Are some of these people over their head? Here's a fair question. Do you feel that even Donald Trump is over his head right now? Because I personally don't think he is. I think he gets overwhelmed with all the shit going on all at one time. I think it's more of an overwhelming thing versus over his head. He's had plenty of time to really think about this and plan this. But do you feel that this term that he's got the best people, or is he still working through things, Jeff?
Yeah, there's a couple changes I'd like to see that to me don't make sense. But
okay, what? Who? Tell us. Who?
The first one I think is Linda McMahon.
Okay, that's Education Secretary.
Right. I mean,
Why?
She was in there the first time, and she allowed all this nonsense to go on with these school systems.
Yep.
Okay.
Good point.
So you all you have to do, you make your recommendation, you send it, collaboration with the president. We want to do this, 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 and this. If it doesn't pass, he writes an executive order. So now, notwithstanding all her husband's legal issues. Okay. Yeah.
So what I hear you saying, Jeff B., it's your opinion that she is a horrible pick for Secretary of Education.
I think she has too much baggage.
Okay. All right.
Not saying she can't.
All right. You're
Right.
sitting in the Oval Office right now, and you're looking at Trump, and he's asking you your opinion about this, and you're giving him the business. You're saying, listen, this is a bad pick. So Jeff B., in your opinion, who would you replace the Secretary of Education with? Hulk Hogan?
I think he'd be better than what's going on with all the people with the connections and baggage.
Well,
Seriously, it just needs to be wiped out, though. Remember, Trump said he wanted her out of a job.
Right. And, we have some of the finest colleges, right, in the world. I mean, you all you have to do is look, 30 miles up the road at Akron University, the premier polymer science. So you couldn't maybe tap the president of that because you're doing something right.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think Linda McMahon has much in education. I mean,
okay, that's fair.
That's and I understand there's friendship there. There has been for decades with the McMahons and Trumps. But you had 4 years, and I really didn't see anything that was productive.
Okay, we need to move on from this, but I want to ask both of you this question. This is a quick question, yes or no, basically. Tammy first, and then Jeff B. Do you believe that the Department of Education should be eliminated? Because half of America says yes, and the other half are freaking out. So, Tammy, should we eliminate completely 100% the Department of Education federally in this country?
100%. I just had the conversation with my friend the other day, and he talked about he was involved. He was a professor. The problem is they get federal funding, and then it starts as a little loan here and there, and then it grows bigger into this monster. And it gets to the point that if you don't do exactly what they tell you to do, you don't get funding. So they're not the right people
It's
get
control.
involved in these colleges if they want control.
They control our entire education system
Exactly.
with federal money. Jeff B.
Yes.
Do you feel that we should eliminate 100% the education department here in America?
I don't think 100%. The reason why I don't think 100% because we have to have some type of federal guideline. But with that being said, it should be up to the states.
Okay.
The federal government should say, okay, criteria from K through 12. Because if you move to a different state and this state didn't do this, but this state did that, employment opportunities, right? So I don't like the fact that the federal government dangles federal funding over these schools.
Exactly.
Well, I had a meltdown, not a meltdown, but I talked to Tammy about this earlier this week or last week about, I was explaining to her how the federal money dangles that carrot, and during 2020, from 2020 to 2023, how they controlled the school systems, enforcing children to do things that children should never be forced to do. They used that carrot of federal funding to force principals, superintendents, and teachers to do things that should have never been done in our school system. I'm not saying those things because obviously we're still getting censored here in America on YouTube. So you guys catch my drift. So let's move on to the next topic. Tammy, I'm going to let you go ahead and go first again, and then the last half I'm going to let Jeff go first because there's things that he wants to cover. But Tammy, what's the deal about the federal judges?
Well, okay, so if you've been listening to Headline Hits, you know that each and every day there seems like there's a new judge coming against Trump. Boasberg is a big one we've been talking about. We've been talking about how they've been trying to blockade him from deporting the illegals. Then they want them to bring back the illegals back in because they didn't have, just cause, due process, and all of this. And it just goes on and on each and every day. So you ask yourself, what are they doing? Even on Easter weekend, the judges did this emergency meeting on Easter weekend, 1:00 in the morning, that we're doing an emergency stay on some stuff. They voted on it to block Trump again. And Alito and Clarence Thomas came out and said, this is absolutely ridiculous. So yes, there is a civil war going on with the judges, whether it's the circuit court judges or the Supreme Court. You know, the Supreme Court, the only job, does anybody know what the only job of the Supreme Court is to do? Can anybody
uphold the Constitution?
Yep.
Do you think that is, there you go. Do you think that is what they're doing when they're doing all these blocks and everything, wanting these illegals back in and stuff like that? Judge Beryl Howell is another one that is blocking the DOJ with doing different things. Basically, President Trump is suing and going against the law firm Perkins Coie. Remember, that was the Hillary Clinton and the DNC paid that law firm more than $1 million in order for the Trump-Russia collusion, all that stuff that went on. So this Judge Beryl blocked part of Trump's executive order and blocked his order to disbar her from even having anything to do with this. So each and every day, even though you may think the judgeship is boring, or the circuit courts and all these Supreme Courts, it's boring to follow this, but this is part of the conundrum that is going on in our government, that these judges are blocking and tying up the courts. So what they want to do is they want all these, at least to start 200 illegals that are gang members that we deported. They want them back. They want them to have due process in the court system. However, you think about it, it will take years and years, hundreds of years. Most of them will die before they get a court date. So what will happen is they'll bring them back here. They'll live, they'll enjoy life until a court date, or they die, which will more than likely they die. So we have to understand, it may be boring and it may be hard to understand how it works, but the judges are blockading the Trump administration from all they're trying to do to clean the mess up. And you have to ask yourself why. And that ticks me off in every way, shape, or form. There was a judge that just resigned. It was, what was his name? It was Judge Joel Cano, just resigned. He had served on the bench since 2011 because what happened? There was a Venezuelan gang member that was arrested inside his home. It was Christian Lopez, 24 years old. He faces federal charges for guns, being illegal, having guns and ammunition here in this country. And so he had him in his home. What's he doing in a judge's home? So this is the kind of crap that is going on in this country that we need to pay attention to.
Jeff B., go ahead.
So to unpack a lot of this, right?
Yeah, right? There's a lot.
Right.
Should I get my tinfoil hat?
Oh, no. This is all in the Federal Registry. Everything that Tammy just went over. Now, either somebody knew this was going to happen, or it's all a big play, right? Because March 6th, Trump wrote an executive order about Perkins Coie. Okay?
Here's where it gets deep, folks. Jeff is getting ready to do a deep dive here. I want to say thank you to all of our wonderful mods tonight. They're bouncing back and forth between Rumble and YouTube. We have the best mods in the business, and thank you guys for always being here and showing up when you can to help keep chat going. So thank you for that. Go ahead, Jeff. Let's talk about this law firm. This is where it gets deep.
So within hours of Trump going into the White House on January 20th, one of the first things he did was strip 50 people of their security clearances. Okay.
Yeah, so, there was a lot. And we're talking, we're talking about the Obamas. We're talking about the Bidens. We're talking about there was generals and stuff that he stripped this security clearance. There was NSA. There was, it's deep, man. And so before you go any further, Jeff, why do you feel like he stripped those clearances?
Access.
Access to what?
Classified material.
Okay.
Because if they weren't smart enough to keep copies of whatever it is that they think they got, right? So not only did he strip them of their security clearances, they're not allowed on any federal property. You can't even go to a federal court because the way it's written in the executive order. So there was 50 of them in total. 2 of them were deceased. But they should have had. Here's the thing with security clearances. The moment you don't have a need to know, they take that caveat. So when I left the Navy and I transitioned into another agency, the moment I left the Navy, signed out, I no longer had a security clearance. It's like dormant. It's still there, but you can't use it. Okay. So why these people still had these security clearances is beyond me. That's the first thing. And then the second thing, I have never personally seen where they revocated their security clearance, but then also banned them from any federal building. I mean, if you think about it, you really can't go to the post office. Post office is a federal building.
Yeah.
Okay. So then when Tammy was talking about Perkins Coie, so all their attorneys had security clearances.
Okay, but hold on a second. For those who are listening who might not know who that is, can you explain who that law firm is and who they're tied to?
They represent Hillary Clinton. Okay, they were instrumental in the Uranium One deal for Obama.
Which is where Hillary Clinton sold uranium to Iran without Congress or anybody okaying it. Right. And my question is where did that money go? Did it go to the United States of America, or was there some backdoor deals where some of that money went to the USAID, which funneled into the Clinton's bank account shit? Like, that's the shit we're talking about.
Right. Mm-hmm. Now, you'd be amazed how all intertwined this is.
It is.
It's crazy. And, we've been, 8 years now? But like, oh, come on, this has to end. This has to end. Mm-hmm. Right? Now, I hate dates, but the big chair told me this all has to be done by July 4th of next year. Because July 4th of next year is Trump's big 250, some magic money, all kinds of crazy.
The big celebration that they're planning for.
Magic money.
Right. I mean, look, they've already increased some people's Social Security by $400, $500, $600.
Good. I hope so.
So this Perkins Coie, they yanked their security clearances, and then it was never on the news. I can't 100% confirm it because I wasn't there, but I was told there was multiple raids done not only at their law firm, but houses. And this executive order was written on March 6th. And so now March 8th is when the news broke about Perkins Coie, and their attorneys went to the U.S. Supreme Court to get an injunction. And that's when Clarence Thomas said, no. This ain't happening. And Roberts actually went against Clarence Thomas.
Yep.
But somehow he got overruled. And I think we'll see here in a minute. So Perkins
Easy, Tammy.
Coie,
Tammy's chomping at the bit. She's over there.
Because these judges, it's insane. Jeff is explaining it so well. People have to understand what hot mess this is each and every day with these judges.
Right. And
Go
so
ahead, Jeff.
Now, when in this executive order with Perkins Coie, there's stuff in there about federal judges, how they've been paid to go certain ways. Now, in the executive order, it cites cases, but it doesn't give actual facts because of the cases being sealed. So then, do you want me to get into?
Hold on, I want to ask you a question because I know what you want to say, but I want to give Tammy a chance to respond because she's about to pass the hell out over here. She's all red and flush. She's just raring to go. Go ahead, Tammy. Spout it out. Go ahead.
Well, it's the thing with the judges each and every day. Okay, so I've been talking about it on Headline Hits every day, and it may you seem tedious and boring, but it's very important. Even just this afternoon and this evening, there is another judge that came out this evening. District Judge Stephanie Gallagher says that the 20-year-old Venezuelan that was deported, along with multiple other migrants, were protected by the class action settlement that prohibits the deportation of migrants who arrived as unaccompanied minors until their asylum claims are fully adjudicated. So once again, it's another new judge putting out another order trying to stop all this from going on. And it really ticks me off because there's such a line of people that are trying to come in here legally. This is such a waste of time, effort, and money. And I have concerns because there's only so many lawyers to handle so many cases. And I feel like what they're trying to do is overwhelm and inundate the Trump administration and these lawyers to fatigue them, clog them up.
I might disagree with you a little bit, Tammy. I might disagree with you a little bit because there might be a place that's built for this. And that's where Jeff B was heading with some of this stuff. So I'm gonna go back to Jeff B and let him pick up where he left off because you're right. There's so much going on, Tammy, that it would just clog the system. But what system are we talking about? Because Jeff B is going to talk about an executive order that takes it out of that system that would be clogged and moves it over to another system. Correct, Jeff B?
Yeah. So Tulsi Gabbard come out.
God, I love this. This is a great night. This is a freaking awesome night.
So she comes out and she makes a statement about how the federal judges are hindering on them doing their jobs. And all these Republicans and Democrats doing what they call judge shopping to get a judge who's more favorable in their line of politics, right? So the media was basically calling her batshit crazy. What's this have to do with?
Now, calling who batshit crazy?
Tulsi Gabbard.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
What's this have to do with DHS, right? Homeland Security. Okay. Well, on March 25th, Trump decides to write another executive order. Okay. And the executive order, he executes Article 2, Section 2 of the Constitution, Presidential Powers Act, National Security Act. So remember back in his first term when Trump says, I'm a wartime president, right when the big C hit, right?
Yeah.
At that time, I thought it was because of the virus. But now, after reading this executive order, I'm beginning to think it was because of interference that they didn't do well enough in 2020 or the 2016 when she was guaranteed to win. Two is they knew what the Democratic plan was, is to get all these migrants to come in. So instead of using the federal court system, which I believe Trump wanted to do, because he's always said we got to do everything constitutionally. Well, if the members within that system are corrupt, why not execute this under the National Security Act? Say, hey, this is executive branch. The executive branch is in charge of the national security of the nation. All these illegals that were brought in, they weren't vetted. So I'm going to execute Article 2, Section 2. I'm going to put it in an executive order. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove all these cases. We'll talk about the migrants right now, out of DOJ's hands. Because it's a National Security Act, I'm going to move this over to the Judge Advocate General Court.
Which goes where?
To the military.
Which goes where?
Goes to military court, which
is where? Where would
probably
they
be Guantanamo? Because remember, Catherine Heritage reported into the second or third year that the U.S. Navy Seabees and the Army Corps of Engineers were building 5 new courthouses on Guantanamo Bay. Okay. So now the other part of this executive order that Trump wrote on the 25th, it's holding governors, election officials responsible for 2020.
Oh.
So if 2020.
Notice how you put governors in there too?
Right.
Because you were just talking about that the other day, Tammy.
Right. Now, this executive order was done March 25th. And the reason why they waited till March 25th is the first executive order, which was 14152. 4 hours after he came into office, he wrote this executive order. He put a timeline. Now, this is where you got to put your tinfoil hat on. He gave it 90 days. You have 90 days to get a report to the director of the National Intelligence. Okay. That 90 days was Easter.
You don't say.
That 90 days, now, conspiracy, the Pope dies.
A day after meeting J.D. Vance.
Yeah, because he probably offed him.
That's what they're
I've seen
saying.
some great memes.
I mean, too.
So I ask a question, not to the big chair, but to somebody else. Has that report been done? And is it filed? And they said, yes, they have it. Can't go all what's into it, but it is done. Now, Pete Hegseth is under a lot of heat right now.
Oh gosh, yes.
Yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Okay. Pause just a minute, Jeff. Holy shit. This may be my favorite night yet. Like we're having a great I'm like listening to what Jeff's saying, and I know some of it, but wow. If you guys are really enjoying this show tonight, please over there on YouTube, the X, Rumble, hit that like button for Jeff, hit that like button for me and Tammy, and share us out, please, because we got a lot of people in here tonight. It's actually a very well done evening. Jeff has really brought great information. Tammy always brings the hammer. So please take a moment. You're not going to miss anything if you just click over there real quick and hit that like button. Share us out if you can real quick. We'll get back to Jeff. You're not going to miss anything. There's no time limit really tonight. I figure we go an hour and a half. Just kind of depends on the conversation and how we're all feeling. So there's no rush tonight. So just do it real quick, and we'll move on here. But I want to get back to Pete. But hold on just a second, Jeff, because I know Tammy's got some things she may want to add to this conversation, and what a great conversation it is tonight, Tammy. So the stuff that Jeff's saying, we've been talking about that shit behind the scenes as well,
Yes.
too, Tammy.
Yes, we have. We have. Pete Hegseth is a major target right now. There have been 4 people under him that have been escorted out of the Pentagon. However, one of them is Dan Caldwell. Now, he appeared on Tucker. He did an interview, and he's claiming that he was framed for possibly being a leaker. What started all this with Pete Hegseth was the signal. The information and the program they were using to communicate, right? And there's leakers out there. Well,
you're talking about the sexting. You're talking about all the wild, crazy shit that was happening with government people using government chats to do all. Is that what you're talking about, Tammy?
Some of that, but this was with Pete Hegseth since he took the position that he's in. So Pete Hegseth has come out and said, yes, there were leaks, but it's not on our part. We're finding out who these people are that did leaks, and we're getting rid of them. We're coming after them. Pam Bondi, other people have said the same thing. The good news is, even though the left and certain people that I think maybe been bought off, paid off to go against Pete because of what he is finding and disclosing and bringing to the light is what is really going on. They're throwing him under a fake bus. It's false pretenses of saying that he's incompetent, that he's too young, that he was only a National Guard guy, and it goes on and on. But this Dan Caldwell on Tucker was accused of leaking information and was fired. He was never given a lie detector test. His phone was never examined. So basically it was headlines, Pete Hegseth, friend and good guy. Underneath them, Dan Caldwell is a leaker. So what they're trying to do, I guess, is frame Pete Hegseth. The good news is that President Trump and one of his advisors who came on different shows like Fox and different media outlets stating that Pete Hegseth is a good guy. They're standing up for him. A reporter on Easter asked Trump about Hegseth and what was going on with the signal and all this stuff going on with him. And he said, listen, it's old news. It's a couple weeks ago. We've already taken care of it. There's nothing new here. Talk to me when you find something new. So really it is what they have done to Trump all these years. They're now doing to Hegseth. But I'm sure that Jeff has more details to it. But you can look out there and there's all this stuff about Hegseth needs to go. Hegseth isn't ready. They're going against him big time.
They didn't like him. They didn't like him from day one, and then they started digging up past and trying to paint him as a woman abuser. Mm-hmm. And I listen. I don't know if any of that's true, not true, partly true. I just find it strange that they're always throwing stuff like that at people to try to take them down. So I wasn't in the room. I have no idea. I try to look at the guy for, is he qualified to do the job? And a lot of people I've heard over the internet saying, oh, he's not qualified, just like Tammy says. But I'm going to get back to Jeff because he's kind of on a roll here tonight, and he's bringing the thunder. So, Jeff, pick up where you left off with Pete Hegseth and what's going on there.
So when the signal thing first come out, now DOD, NSA, they've all used signal. Okay, mm-hmm. They use that platform, and then NSA has cryptography that they can add to it, so it's pretty much unbustable. Mm-hmm. Now you got to wonder why they fired Dernza, and Dernza is the director of the National Security Agency. Okay, so my guess is somebody, because NSA follows all that traffic on signal. My guess is there was an inquiry done by the attorneys at DOD to find out the key on who leaked this information. And Dernza probably didn't authorize it, so he got the boot. Now, the other main reason why I think they're going after Hegseth so hard, and this is where it's all been intertwined, HEGSETH, being SecDef, can also order the JAG Corps to do certain things, which is a Judge Advocate General Corps, which ties into the governors and the election officials.
Yeah.
So if Trump is using Article 2, Section 2, presidential powers through an executive order, which the Supreme Court already said a federal judge can't tell the executive branch how to conduct its business.
Yeah.
So that's why I think they're going after HEGSETH, because he's on the same page as Trump. And I mean, all you have to do is go back when he was in the news media. He was always gunning hard at these clowns. But, people have to, and even I have to step back and look at, we've been a nation for 250 years. And ever since Washington and all them, people have been screwing this experiment up the whole way. Mm-hmm. And we're really expecting Trump to do it in 4 years, now in 90 days, 100 days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, but, like with the Epstein, right? With Pam Bondi, I think that was taken from her. I think that was taken away from.
Okay, explain why you think that and who's got it, in your opinion. I know you don't have the answers.
Right. Yeah, it's just an opinion.
Why do you think that, and where do you think it went? Because I got a good idea.
So I think once there was intentions to release everything, but once they started scoping through after Trump was sworn in, there's too many people intertwined. Okay, so if you have, I don't know, let's say somebody in Germany from Seidel who had server farms, who collected data.
I remember that.
Okay,
Yeah.
So let's say that person is on that list, the Epstein list. But hold on, that person also is going to be involved in 13848 for election interference. So now we got two.
Are you talking about I'm only going to say two initials. Are you talking about the ML person? No? Not talking about the...
No, I'm just talking in general.
Okay, all right.
Wait.
I thought you were going somewhere with that, and Tammy and I were there, and I'm like, "Are you shitting me right now?"
Oh no!
Are you shitting me, pal? Like, what's going on here? Are you breaking some shit down, or what?
No, I'm talking about the CEO of Seidel.
Okay. I thought you were. I thought you said. I thought you were talking about that name was on that list, and I'm like, holy shit!
Now, from what my understanding. And like I said, I wasn't in the room when this was discussed, but Lindell and what's the crazy attorney's name?
Rudy Giuliani?
No. Rudy's. The guy who was all over Telegram telling people he had the court cases.
Linwood.
Yeah, that's her man.
Linwood.
So my understanding is Lindell, Linwood, the Brunson brothers. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they all disappeared, right?
Yep.
Or did they? And here's the key person that nobody.
Whoa! Okay, I'm confused here. Why are you bringing their names up? Where are you going with this?
I'm going to this executive order.
Okay, all right. I keep thinking list. My brain is like list, and you're naming names, and I'm like,
no. They're not anything on the list.
Okay,
no.
All right. I don't.
But a lot of these people that are being investigated.
I'm getting antsy I got ants in my pants right now.
One named Cuomo.
Andrew.
And I'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
But the one key piece that everybody seems to forget, and even I did till his name was brought up, was Joe Von Pulitzer.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Von Pulitzer, remember, he has all the hard data.
Yes, he does. Mm-hmm. Yes.
And
So
Right.
what I hear you saying is this is all tying into that executive order, and
Right.
every piece of these people that have been out there for years talking about this shit is going to have something to do with this executive order. Is that where you're going with all this, Jeff? Okay. All right. Now I'm
So
on the same page
they're
with you.
removing. So originally, Trump said we got to do all this constitutionally, right?
Yes.
So we have to let the court systems handle their business. But the court systems have to do everything constitutionally. If these federal judges aren't doing things constitutionally, we're going to now remove it from your hands constitutionally by using Article 2, Section 2. Placing it under national security, moving it over to the Judge Advocate General Court, because no federal judge can tell the military. Remember, there was a federal judge that come out and told Trump that he cannot attack Iran.
Yeah. What the heck?
Straight out made the statement, we are going to file an injunction, right, that you can attack Iran.
Crazy.
And then that's when Robert said,
Hey.
whoa. You can't tell the executive branch how to operate its business. Okay. So now on March 25th is when Trump wrote this executive order, basically moving everything out of the federal court system over to the military court system. And I think it was Bongino a week ago told people to pipe down. Don't get all antsy.
He did.
The arrests are coming.
That's part of the
Amen. Yep.
That's part of the comment that I made earlier about Dan Bongino and what he posted on X, being as transparent as he possibly can. He can't tell everything, and that's why I said I have trust in Dan Bongino that he's going to do the right thing. I think honestly, Dan Bongino, if he got in there and there was shit that was being real shady and stuff, he'd resign and walk away. Dan Bongino would not be part of it.
I think he would too, because he's definitely made more money before he went in there.
Exactly, Jeff. Yep.
And he is not going to put his reputation on the line for a bunch of shady shit. Not happening.
That's just like the big chair. I have conversations with him probably twice a day because there's something else that is coming up that he asked me for advice. Asked me for advice on what a certain thing he should do. And, like I told him, protect your own ass because you don't know who you can trust within this system right now.
Right.
I said, you got a good attorney. I know your attorney. Just get it on record with him. You don't have to go to the IG right now, but at least get it on record. And hey, pick up the phone and call the Oval, right? At least let that person know because he had enough confidence in you to put you to where you're at.
Yeah, and he saved his ass too.
Right.
I mean, that's a pretty big connection between those two people, and I'm talking about the big chair and Trump. That big chair saved his life that day in Butler, so that's a pretty big fucking deal. Like Trump is never going to forget that. Like I give you crap all the time, Jeff, to tell the big chair, hey, now his face is on a coin now. Like they printed coins. Right. They got all this shit out there now that he's right there. He's the guy, and I still look at that photo and see him there and I'm like, damn, dude, like you were at the right place at the right time. Right. And for all those people that said that shit was staged, I watched so many military experts try to reenact that thing, and there's no way that shit was ever staged. That was just, in my opinion, it was the hand of God saving his life because he should have been dead. Been dead.
Well, the only reason it happened was due to incompetence.
Yeah. 100%.
Yep. And I think that's why somebody was brought in because, he was a briefer for him. But anyways, I mean, there's all of a sudden, have you noticed how many things are being tied to Butler? There's the governor, or not the governor, the mayor of Butler.
Mm-hmm.
Certain money was received,
Mm-hmm.
and
Butler's
that's
going
where,
down.
right.
Yep.
But yeah, so if you really want to see where this is playing out, all you have to do is go through, and from the time that Trump took his second term till now, just go through and read these executive orders. They're spelling everything out. What's going to
100%.
happen?
Yep.
And now, where you were talking about with Mike Flynn, because I asked, because
Now here we go. Here it goes, people. Here
The
we go.
Flintster.
so when
Here we go.
Trump made his announcement that he was going to run, he hadn't selected his VP candidate yet.
Yeah, a lot of us thought it was going to be Flynn.
I
A
thought
lot
for
of people
sure
did.
it was going to be him. And the reason I thought it was going to be him is he told Flynn, "Yeah, better stay healthy." So that coming from a president, I'm thinking, oh, you're about ready to get tapped for VP.
No, he's got other plans.
So now what I'm guessing, based on some other stuff that I read in these executive orders, I have a sneaky suspicion, because you have to remember what Flynn's role was in the Obama administration. He was the director of national intelligence. So he knows where all the bodies are buried.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they
Wow.
gunned after him. My understanding is Flynn is handling the intelligence side of these executive orders on the election and on the people that have come across the border, because they did a scrape of some databases of election not tallies, people who are registered to vote.
Yeah.
And there's some certain anomalies that are happening with numbers that, let's say, Mike, your social security number ends in 25. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You're
How'd you know that,
assigned
Jeff? How'd you know that?
Classic. So there is an election number system that assigns based on your social security number and election number, from my understanding. And they were adding zeros to the end of that to make it look like it was a different voter, to where it wasn't a different voter. It was one voter that they were using 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Now, remember, I've always said I believe that there's going to be a constitutional crisis, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So, as part of this executive order, this is why all the governors are being named. They're going to go through the 2020 and the midterms
Mm-hmm.
and the 24 election. Okay. If there are duplicates based on this algorithm, they're going to pull these names out and take those votes. And if the person who won truly didn't win based on the duplicate votes, they're going to be removed from office.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Because there's an executive order when Trump first came into office that stated this, which is 13848.
Dude, there's a lot of people in my state going down, that's for sure. As
And-
crooked as crooked can be.
Right. And so what I think is going to happen now, I was told, I don't like dates, but I was told all this has to be done by July 4th of next year because of what Trump has planned that they're rolling out. But this other executive order also states you have to have a voter ID card, and the ballots have to be paper.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
If not, if the states don't comply, they're yanking all their federal funding. They
Yeah.
get $0 from the federal government.
Mm-hmm.
I heard
And-
about that.
Even Roberts, said constitutionally this can be done because it's within executive powers because you're using the National Security Act.
Jesus.
Same with
Bam.
all these illegals.
Yeah.
It's a national security issue.
And that's, I think, a concept that none of us knew or could comprehend back in the day. And now we see it. Now we know why Trump has done what he has done. And with these orders and with everything else, with all the people that are naysayers out there that say nothing ever happens and stuff, we can debate that now because the fact is it is happening. Maybe not at the pace we want, but there's things that have to be done to make sure it's done the right way and they don't slip through a loophole.
Holy shit. The producer's sending us a message here that we got about 160 people total on YouTube and Rumble. I don't know how many we got on X right now, but we got about 80 on Rumble and 80 something on YouTube watching tonight. And that's awesome. If you guys can hit that like button for us, subscribe if you haven't subscribed to this channel. If you enjoy the content and my co-host, my special guest here and co-host most of the time when he's on here. So do that for us. That would help us out a bunch. I want to ask one of you two, because I can't remember. I have so many conversations all the time. What the hell is going on with General Flynn being in charge of something? I can't remember, Jeff, if that was you and I that talked about that a couple days ago, or if it was Tammy that brought it up today. But while we've got General Flynn in our crosshairs right now, what is he getting ready to be in charge of? And is Trump making that happen? Like, what's going on with that?
Well, I think Flynn is going to play an intricate role along with the Kraken. Because remember, she
Sidney
was,
Powell.
Yes.
Sidney Powell. She was his attorney.
Yep.
During the whole Obama.
Hey, there's John H.
John H.
And so I think Flynn is going to be in charge of the directorate side of Guantanamo Bay.
Wow. Ba-boom.
Because he's got an axe to grind too.
Oh, yeah. Look what they did to him. Look what they put him through. Look at,
put him in
that was
frickin'
crazy.
prison.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Absolutely. And there was a while there that I wasn't so sure about Flynn because he got involved with some of these like conspiracy people, some of these so-called patriots, and he was doing things that didn't seem legit. And it seemed like Trump distanced himself from them. But now in hindsight, now in hindsight, what you're saying, Jeff, and with these EOs and all this going down, maybe he was just finding out information, intel, and all that because you have to keep your enemies close, right? So maybe that's, what he was doing because you're definitely right. That's a big fact people forget about is them putting him in jail, and he does have a huge axe to grind.
No, he's got some payback coming.
Or was that with Flynn a very well orchestrated play?
Correct.
To separate the two, Trump and Flynn.
Yes.
And now he's been out of sight, out of mind.
Yep.
So people forget about it.
Yep. It's crazy to me. It is crazy how all this is spun around and changed. And, we're finding more information, and it is very transparent because if people go to whitehouse.gov, they have all the information out there. And then there's an executive orders website that I actually sent to LW that I found today that is exactly what you said, Jeff. It's transparent. It shows all the EOs that have been signed, not just by Trump, the other presidents as well, and the date it was signed and what it's about. Yeah. So it's amazing to me too. You sit there and you research and you find this stuff out and you're like, wow. Some of these people that have been on YouTube and these other platforms that have made millions of dollars for just giving false hope and telling lies to people, I think should be long gone because there's so much information out there now that people can find the truth. We try to find the truth here and tell the truth.
We have some of the best listeners, the best audience ever. I'm reading some of the comments there in chat. If you guys are watching us over there in X, you can also join the live chat there too. It'll pop up on our software. We can read some of your comments, but we got comments on Rumble and YouTube going crazy right now. Appreciate that. Jeff, I want to ask you and Tammy the question about Executive Order 14152, and that has to do with Hillary Clinton. It's what we've already been talking about. But that executive order and talking about Adam Schiff and Russia, and all the bullshit that they spread, that they're looking. Are they looking? I'm asking, I guess. I'm not trying to assume. Are they looking at indictments for Hillary Clinton? Because I know that Tammy put some stuff out earlier this week about handcuffs on Hillary. We've talked about that for years. I don't know if it's actually going to come true or not, but with this executive order, and then of course they're talking about indicting Adam Schiff. Thank you. Which that should have happened a long time ago, and that scared little rats running, pissing his pants. He's running scared right now. So can we talk a little bit about that? Executive Order 14152. What does that have to do with, I mean, Gitmo, Hillary Clinton, Adam Schiff? Like, is this all gonna connect and come together?
Well, this executive order encompasses the laptop from hell.
Oh, that was just a hoax. That was just,
Right.
That was a hoax. And they have been talking about that for months, Jeff, where they actually went to voters that voted in 2020 that said if they would have actually saw the laptop from hell on normal news channels, lame stream media, that would have actually probably changed their mind on the decision they made in 2020. And that was a cover-up by our FBI. That was a cover-up by our government really hosing the American people.
Well, if you remember, you and I took a lot of heat for this.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
When, I come out and I said, I know somebody who was in charge of that laptop that went through that laptop, and they got into about 5% of it, and they had to send it to special victims.
Yeah.
Because it was so gory.
Yeah.
And we got beat up for that for months.
Yeah, we did.
And it was bullshit.
Yeah, we were called liars and all kinds of shit.
Right. And now it's coming out, it is true. Well, this executive order is taking that. It's taking the Russia. It's taking the whole thing with Hillary Clinton, all wrapping it up into a nice bow. Now, I just asked the direct point, will she be arrested? And he goes, if you ever had an 8-ball, the one that you shake up,
Yeah.
more than likely. Now, remember they've always said there was going to be an arrest that would shock the world, right? And
Yes.
I said for a long time it would be Donald Trump. I thought, because that would shock people, right? Not that I had any foresight, but now looking back, okay, Trump was arrested, indicted, 4-time felony hitter. But now, I think it would shock the world if Hillary was put in cuffs, because it's out of sight, out of mind.
Mm-hmm. I
Yeah.
agree with that.
I think it's coming because there's a reason why all of a sudden Iran's important. I mean, we moved 40, 55% of our stealth bomber fleet to Qatar. That's a lot of money. So Iran comes into this somehow. And I think it's the uranium one. So, yeah. It's going to take... Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
It's going to take a while. There's no doubt. And I get frustrated because, I haven't watched any news, U.S. news, since Trump supposedly lost. Now, I was told today that there is 100% definite proof 2020 was stolen, beyond a shadow of a doubt.
A lot of people are talking about that. Finally, we talked about it and got censored because of it. Well, and here's the other crazy thing is there's a lot of talk going on that they are going to nil and void all the pardons from Biden administration. They're talking about Hunter Biden flipping and spilling the beans on all that shit. Like, man, we talk about it. We're called conspiracy theorists. We're called crazy grifters, all that stuff. And but yet this stuff keeps coming true. So I don't know who really was the fucking grifter. right? We were just just trying to put out the truth.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was hard to believe. It's still hard to believe, but a lot of this stuff, it's crazy.
Well, when you look at Hillary's
look at John H's comment.
Mike,
So I've heard a lot of talk, and I don't know if it's true or not. It's just a lot of murmuring going on that the Obamas are going to get divorced. Now
it's done. She admitted it.
Okay, but so even Hillary and Slick Willie could technically be freaking divorced, but it wouldn't make any sense to them financially. So of course, Slick Willie's going to go do what he's going to do, and Hillary's going to do what she does. So would it really make sense for the Obamas to divorce, or is there something else at play with that? And Big Mike, is that the real thing? Like, I don't know. But with John H's comment, Big Mike is flipping. Wait and see. You're saying that the divorce has already happened because there's people that
Oh no, she admitted it.
It's a podcast. Come on. Whatever it is, has a podcast.
Whatever it is.
She or he does nothing but complain about
it's done.
Barack.
It's over with.
It's over.
Come on. I'm going to have to listen to this tomorrow.
This.
Okay.
She also,
Jesus, I'm behind the times here. Why aren't you catching me up, Tammy? What's going on?
Well, because I have been paying attention to that, but it seems like drama. So it seems like a she because of the drama that she's putting out there, but she looks like a he. So I'm not really sure, but she's on there with her brother and stuff a lot of the time, and she does nothing but complain about the presidency, the White House, and all she put off and blah, 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 blah. So it is a complete wiping out of Barack and any class, dignity, presidential royalty that we felt he had. She's wiping it totally out. So I believe what John says, that she's going to expose him and keep exposing him. And what's he going to do about it?
Here's my tinfoil hat.
Okay, I'll put mine on. Good timing.
I think she was approached by somebody. Spill the beans, because I've gotten 2 other IDs now that was sent to me that proves what Rush Limbaugh, Trump, everybody had said. Okay. The thing from Queens Medical Center in Hawaii. Okay. If they are going to bury this, right, they have to have somebody who was on the inside. Now, I can tell you, because I had somebody come into our showroom who is currently working with a company that's building the Obama Library in Chicago.
That's been canceled, right?
It was put on pause.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing about this library. When he showed me pictures, he told me that every exterior wall and every exterior ceiling is 4-foot reinforced concrete walls for a library. Figure that one out.
That's weird.
And I asked him if he'd send me the pictures, and he goes, oh hell no.
You got to be shitting me. Producers clicking a button up here, and it says that there are 33 people watching this live on the X right now. I got to go over there and check that out.
That's pretty awesome.
That is pretty awesome. So if you are watching this on X, thanks for joining us this evening. If this is your first time, welcome to LWN Network. Hit that like button. Share us out on X. It'd really help us. But we do have a live chat there. So if you want to jump into the live chat and have conversation, it'll pop up here in the comments. And, sometimes we'll respond to them. Sometimes we don't respond to all of them. But there's some good comments in there. But holy shit with the whole Obama thing. Like, this is crazy. So, okay. Now I'm going to put my tinfoil hat back on real quick and ask this question to Jeff B. This is a wild question. Now, a lot of this shit I covered for years, and I had to pull back because a lot of it was just like, holy shit, there's almost 40 people on X right now. It's going like crazy right now on X. So thanks for joining us. I reported on this for years, and I had to pull back because some of it was so outlandish It was like at first I believed it, and then I stopped believing it, and it was like it just mind fucked me, honestly.
Right.
So I'm gonna ask you this point blank, Jeff B. If Big Mike flips, do you believe anything will come out with the whole Pizzagate shit in the Obama administration?
And it goes beyond Obama. It goes back to Clinton's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Jesus.
now
Holy
I was working there when Clinton was there. When the whole
Wow.
I was coming in at the end of the Monica Lewinsky.
Oh, that was interesting.
Shit, there are a lot of people on X right now. That's wild. Thanks for joining us on X.
And I think personally, now there's nothing to back this other than conversations that I've had at the time with some of the guys that work the protection detail. The whole Monica Lewinsky thing, I believe, was a setup by the Republicans and the Democrats. Because if you go back and you look at the executive orders that Bill Clinton signed, there's an executive order in there about 4 weeks prior to the Monica Lewinsky scandal breaking.
You see that comment from John H?
Wow. Yeah.
Like, okay,
It's
this
all
shit's getting deep, folks. Like I said, we've been talking about this for years. If you're new to LWN Network, you've never heard of us before, you're just seeing us for the first time over there on the X or whatever. Like, we've been talking about this stuff for a long time. Jeff B has been with me since my first month on air. Jeff came in April of 2021. We've been doing this a long time, and Tammy a short time after. We were called grifters. We were called liars. We had every name in the book out there that we were called, and they tried to discredit Jeff. They tried to discredit me and personally attack me. But this Pizzagate that we're talking about, and John H is talking about there, and John H is somebody you don't fuck with. That's what I'm saying is, if Big Mike, the big swinging sausage, is going to flip, if they've been divorced and that person is going to flip on Barry himself, like the Pizzagate. So we talk about a constitutional crisis. Like, I just believe that this is just going to keep rolling into a bigger and bigger and bigger snowball. Does anybody disagree with that?
Well, no, I've been saying for a long time it's going to be drip, 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 fire hose.
Yeah, you have.
And when it all happens, people are going to be sitting in a corner rocking back and forth.
Yeah,
because
not believing it.
Correct. They're not going to believe it, and people can't admit that they've been duped.
Correct. They would rather fight the fact that they've been duped than accept it. And I have a question, Jeff. If Big Mike does flip and has spilt the beans on Barry, as LW said, will Big Mike still have to face penalties because Big Mike was involved in some of this or cutting a deal?
Yeah, it all depends on how the deals work.
Yeah.
Okay.
I almost guarantee you Big Mike walks away scot-free.
That's why Big Mike's
that's just my own opinion. I don't know anything, but I mean, you're gonna get the swinging sausage there, freaking flipping on somebody like that. Like, you're gonna let them walk, you know, because it's not gonna just be Barry. It's not gonna be just Barack Obama. It's Hillary. It's like a lot of that whole administration. Holy shit!
Well, and now you can sit back and you can look. Remember, we talked 4 years ago, where the announcement was made that there are over 100,000 sealed indictments.
Yes,
right?
we talked about that. We were called liars. We were called conspiracy theorists. Holy shit, we almost have as many people watching us live in X as we do YouTube right now. Over 50, right at 50 on X. So thanks for joining us. Holy shit. Like, we talked about these indictments. We ran the gambit on
Right.
these indictments. We were called conspiracy theorists and crazies and liars and grifters. But now it's coming full circle, and we keep talking about this, Jeff B, on how this keeps coming full circle. We're now coming back to this stuff, and it's all starting to really add up. And I think Hillary Clinton may very well be. I always thought it was going to be Barack Obama. I thought that Barack Obama would be the person that shocks the world with the arrest, right? We're always told the person that gets arrested the first will shock the world. And I always thought it'd be Barack Obama, and maybe I'm still right. But Hillary Clinton would definitely be just as shocking for people to see her handcuffed. But so here's my opinion. Everyone hates Hillary Clinton. Even Slick Willie hates Hillary Clinton, and he's got at least
story.
So if everyone hates Hillary Clinton and she was arrested, I don't think it would shock too many people. We all know that the Clintons are dirty. We all know, holy shit, now we're at 60 on X. Thank you for joining us. We all know that the Clintons are corrupt. We all know that Hillary did a horrible job as secretary. We all know that she put people's lives at danger and cost people their lives. Like, I really don't think that Hillary Clinton would be so shocking to people if she was the first arrested. I honestly believe, and it's only my opinion, but if Big Mike is flipping, if the marriage is over, they've been divorced, and she or he or whatever it is telling all, my money is still on Barack Barry Obama being the person that gets arrested that completely shocks the world, because that silver-tongued fox convinced the whole planet that he was God, and convinced the whole planet that he's this great person, and convinced the whole planet that, that he belongs with the elites, and he's been programmed and he's been planted, and we all know the backstories on Barack Obama. But I'm gonna throw the money in the hat on, I believe the first arrest that would shock the world would be Barack Barry Obama. That's just,
well, look at it like this, Mike. Everybody knows the crimes were committed with Hillary, right?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but it would be shocking to actually see them do something.
Yeah.
About it.
I'm gonna ask chat real quick. I want to ask chat, if you're watching us live on X, we have a live chat there that you can hop in there and we can see your comments here on our software. I'm gonna ask chat. I'm gonna ask YouTube, the X. I'm gonna ask Rumble tonight. The arrest that shocks the world. Write in any name in there. Shit, you can even put my name in there if you want. Who do you think would be the person that would shock the world being arrested? Would it be Hillary Clinton? Would it be Barack Barry Obama? Would it be somebody else? Throw that in there. I'm going to call them out as I see them popping up on screen. And just who do you guys think would be the arrest of the century? We got Obama, Texas Patriot girl, Barry. Barry, yeah, Joe Biden. That's a good one, Joe Biden. Yep. But I don't know. BHO, Joe Biden, BHO, Obama. So we got quite a few people responding to us there on YouTube. Obama. Netanyahu. There's a lot to be said about Netanyahu, because a lot of people believe that would be the one. But we got people responding to us there on YouTube and Rumble. Hillary Clinton. How about anybody in X want to drop anything in there for a comment on who you think might be the person that would shock the world if they got arrested?
I think that if it was Hillary, people would celebrate and be so happy because we know how crooked she is. Yes.
I'd drink a beer to it.
Yeah. I mean, we'd toast that.
And round up Slick Willie while you're at it. We all know that Slick Willie is the number one name at the top of the Epstein list. That's no joke. We know that shit.
Mm-hmm. Yes, 100%. Well, Hillary, that came out recently too, and I wanted to ask Jeff B about that while we're on the topic of Hillary for a moment. Her former campaign manager, Robbie Mook, came out under oath and said that Hillary personally approved pushing that fake story about Trump and Russia. So back then, remember, it was Russia, 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 and we were all crazy for saying that Hillary has ties, the Clintons have ties, they have all these foundations and money funneling. Well, her previous campaign manager came out, and I have advice for him. Thank you for finally coming out, but you better hide. You better have somebody that can protect you, because we know what happens when you call out the
I'm sorry, Tim. I'm sorry, but you gotta see John H's comment. You gotta see John H's comment.
Oh,
Says, wouldn't it be funny if Slick Willie became Big Mike's prison bitch? I can't even believe this, that we have more people watching us on X than YouTube right now. Thanks for joining us over there on X. If you hit the like button on X and share us out, more people will find us if you enjoy this content. If you enjoy my co-host Tammy, the Hammer Nation, she does headline hits Monday through Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where she just covers the headlines. She's usually ahead of all the other news channels out there. So if you guys want to get an update on the news before you see it on Fox or anywhere else, Tammy's your gal. Jeff B., close friend of ours, and been with us for a very long time. He's got what we call a man in the big chair, which is in Washington, D.C., and I won't go any further than that. I just really appreciate the fact that Jeff is always willing to come on here and share information for us. Lori C., thank you for the coffee tonight. She says, love what you all doing. Keep it up, and thank you. Well, thank you, Lori C., for that coffee. Really appreciate it. We do put a lot of time and effort into this channel, into this show, trying to bring you guys some entertainment and some information, entertainment with our little tinfoil hats.
Yeah. So think about this now. So Elon Musk comes in as Doge, right?
Oh, that's what I wanted to cover tonight too. Elon Musk. So we don't want to forget that. Stick with us. Don't leave yet. Hit that like button. Share us out. We want to cover Elon Musk as we wrap this up tonight. So don't go anywhere.
But before we get to that, Jeff B., somebody wants to know what your opinion is about who's the first arrest. So then we can go into that, because we don't want to bypass what they want. There it is.
Yeah, originally I thought it was Hillary. Then I changed it. Okay, when Trump was in, that'd be cool if they arrested Trump. That would shock people. And then after they did it, and I was like, okay, that wasn't really shocking because they've been gunning for him. I think it's going to be Hillary, because of the fact everyone wants it to happen, but no one thinks it's going to happen because they're above the law.
I still think Barry. Shit, we're almost to 70 on X right now. We're gonna end up. YouTube will be like fun, but the X looks like the place to be right now. Yeah, let's get back. Let's get back to Elon Musk before we wrap it up tonight, because that's very interesting. There's so many people, experts, other podcasters like ourselves out there putting out all kinds of different opinions and what they think is going on. I get messages all the time from people, not as many as I used to get, Tammy. That was wild back in the day when we were at our peak, but I don't want to talk ill of Elon Musk, because I think what he really did, of nothing else, Elon Musk reminds me of Trump of 2016, from 2016 to 2020, when Trump kicked that frickin' hornet's nest right in at the end of 2020 and really made people wake the hell up and pay attention to what's really going on, not just in the United States, but around the globe, and especially our government. And so if I don't give Elon Musk any more credit than other than being the tip of the spear at the beginning and really just breaking shit wide open and showing us how fucking corrupt this government is, how they've always been, where some of the money's going. And shit, I get emails and text messages. Wow, he said this, it was 1.4 trillion and it's really only 150 billion and blah, 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 blah. Guess what? If it's $1 fucking that they ripped us off from, it's $1 too much. So I don't give a shit if it's 1 trillion. I don't give a shit if it's a 1 billion, 100 billion, 1 million. These sons of bitches need to pay. And if they're ripping us off and they're taking advantage of us, it needs to be exposed. So I don't care what the number is. Now, I think I had conversation with Tammy the other day where I said, well, maybe some of these picks, and then we kind of covered this at the beginning of the show, where maybe some of these picks are over their head. So I'm going to start there with both of you. What are your thoughts about Elon Musk? Do you think Elon Musk was over his head and that's why he's backing out, or are there other things at play that Elon Musk is walking away from what's going on? Does he need to get back to his business? Because we both know he's been hurt by doing this, right? His personal life, his professional life is being hurt. So, Tammy, I'll let women go first.
I'll go first. First of all, Elon Musk is doing this for free. Let's not forget that. Second of all, Elon Musk's Tesla company has lost his earnings 71% in the first quarter. Okay, so he was having $409 million is what he's made, down from $1.4 billion. I think Elon Musk is an expert in what he does and the people he brought in to expose Doge. Now, he was supposed to step down in May. We've known that. But obviously, people out there have been criticizing him and saying, oh, him and Trump are fighting. Trump wants him out. Trump's going to get rid of him. No, he was supposed to step down in May anyhow. Elon just came out and said that he is going to drop his time significantly with Doge starting in May, because they have most of the stuff put in place they needed to put in place. But he said he will likely spend 1 to 2 days of the week on government matters for as long as the president needs him and as long as it's beneficial to them, because he does have a company to run. He was actually talking to his investors, calming them down and saying, yes, I know we've lost this money. Yes, I know it needs to be paid attention to. But remember, the left and these other people loved him, and he was a magical hero, the most wonderful man in the world with these electric cars. We all needed to have him. And then he works with Trump and starts exposing their butts for the corruption and shit they're doing to line their pockets with our money. And now all of a sudden he's almost like the Antichrist, and he's been called that many times. So I say, Elon, God bless you. Thank you for all you've done. You didn't have to do it. It was done for free. You've sacrificed a lot for your country, because Elon made a great statement. He said, if the United States of America goes down, all of us go down. Me, you, mom, dad, sister, brother. And that's what I have to say about Elon. There's nothing between him and Trump. It was planned the way it should be. And he plans on staying all the way through the Trump administration if he wants him, because he said that infiltration will just in the trash will just go right back in there and doing what they always got away with doing if they don't keep it up and pay attention to it.
It's the same game plan that they came out with Donald Trump. Thank you for joining us over there on X. I can't say it enough. We're up to like 75 people over on X. And thank you for joining us on YouTube and Rumble too. I'm not taking anything away from those channels either. I don't know how many people are over on Rumble, but close to 100 people on Rumble or more. So thanks for, Rumble's right at 100. So thanks for joining us. But it's the same game plan, Jeff B, Tammy, is everybody loved Donald Trump until the moment he came down the escalator and threw his name in the hat. I'm running for president in 2016. Then everybody fucking hated him. He was the white devil, orange man bad. Shit got worse even in 2020 and 2022 and 2024. And here comes Elon Musk. And Tammy's 100% correct. Everybody loved Elon Musk. Son of a bitch was building electric cars. Hell, I wouldn't doubt it if Gavin Newsom would have got on his knees and bowed down to Elon Musk, because Gavin Newsom by 2025, 2030, I think it's 2030, wants everyone in the whole state of California to only drive electric cars. And he loved Elon Musk. Then here comes Elon Musk with his team and starts exposing our government for what they are. They're a bunch of damn crooks. They're corrupt. They've been robbing the American people for generations, and they fucking hate him. He's another white devil. He's Tesla man bad. And it's the same game plan. They hate on these people. I hope every one of them motherfuckers that caught his cars on fire, destroyed his property on his car lots, and attacked private people and their Teslas and shit. I hope every one of them sons of bitches go to prison for a long ass time. Long ass time. Sit your ass in prison and enjoy Big Mike in there, because Big Mike's gonna have some fun with you. But yeah, it's crazy. I think he's done a great job. Jeff B, I'm gonna turn the mic over to you, sir.
So I'm going to do the impossible here. I am going to link Elon Musk with Hillary Clinton.
All right, do it. Here we go. Hey, put the hat on.
Oop.
So,
Shoot.
Doge inception was, for math's sake, we'll say 90 days ago, right? That's when Trump created it, the day he was sworn in. Do you honestly believe? Number one, I think Musk is nothing more than a figurehead. Musk is being put out there by who I think was the shadow government when Biden was in the White House. They put Musk out there because they know he's divisive. Do you honestly believe that within 90 days, this man, Big Balls, all these other people can actually find all this corruption, money laundering, USAID?
Not in 90 days. Not in 1 week. Not in 30 days. Not in 60 days. This shit was done a long time ago.
Well, that's where I'm getting to.
Well, you asked the question. I'm just trying to answer it for you.
AI is how they dug all the information out. Because remember, I told you about 5 years ago, the last project somebody worked on was introducing AI into the quantum computing system before he left the FBI. Now, AI can do all that within 90 days, probably can do it within a week. But you still have to have human eyes to look at all of it, right? It's impossible. All that corruption. So that tells me that this probably started when Trump left the White House. Okay? Now, because we kept seeing weird anomalies during those 4 years, like certain people that were with Trump, protective detail, and then 20 minutes later, Biden's live in Las Vegas, and those same people are with Biden. Impossible.
Yep.
Okay? Now, this is how I'm going to link it to Hillary Clinton. You remember George W. Bush's funeral. She come out, they put her in the van, all of a sudden her arms go back.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Oh,
Yep.
Right?
yeah.
They said she had, like a grand mal seizure or some nonsense.
Yep.
And it looked like she was being put in cuffs, right?
Yeah, I saw that.
There's something that was said many, many times. The future proves things that have happened in the past. So the whole Elon thing, I believe, has been going on since the certification of the AI into quantum computing was done.
Wow.
And Trump was running a shadow government. That's why the news media kept saying, is there a shadow government running? Is there a shadow government running? Because I'm a firm believer, all these little weird anomalies, all these weird events, they are going to have to go back and show the American people this really happened. Remember when Joe Biden fell up the stairs? There wasn't one Secret Service agent did a pat down. There was nobody.
Nobody came. Remember when he fell over on his bicycle? Nobody even. There was no Secret Service there helping him. It was a freaking news reporter that helped him up. It's crazy the shit that we've seen. in those 4 years.
Right. And I think that's all going to be reshown. But that's how I'm linking Elon Musk to Hillary Clinton. I think this stuff's already been done. We're just now seeing it happen because it's based on continuity of government, 13848.
Okay. Shit, we're up to 86 over there on X. I keep saying that because we've never had that many people watching us live on X before. So thanks for joining us. I want to say thank you to Carlene and Chase. They're two of our favorite mods, for buying us coffees tonight, Tammy and Jeff. They bought us quite a few coffees.
Thank you.
So thank you for that. And here's their message. Thank you, Mike, Tammy, and Jeff, for coming on tonight. I think we all needed this. So appreciate you giving us your time. God bless. And thank you for the coffees. Appreciate
sweet.
that. Very, very nice. So that, when you guys buy us coffees, that goes to this show. It goes to helping us keep the lights on, keep the internet going. And I know that, we haven't come on as much as we used to, but we're getting back to it. It's more of a slow go for us. My schedule's changed a couple of times. I'm trying to figure out schedule before I commit to stuff, and then I can't do it. But Tammy is on, just for those of you who are watching us live on X right now. She is live Monday through Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Headline Hits. And what is Headline Hits? She brings up the headlines of the day. She's usually almost a day ahead of Fox News or anyone else out there putting out the news. So check her out Monday through Thursday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch her right there on X live. And then we're going to be live this Sunday evening. I don't know what time yet, but Wolfpack Sunday is an alpha male show that I do. We're going to be covering a great topic this Sunday. You're not going to want to miss it. We will be live on X, Rumble, YouTube. I should have the Facebook channel back up and running by then. We'll be on a new Facebook channel. But I appreciate you guys joining us. Jeff B's been with me since April of 2021, and Tammy has been with me after 4th of July of 2021 when she's seen us for the very first time at Mount Rushmore. When I used to go mobile all the time on the side of the road, didn't matter where we were. I'd be at a Maverick, I'd be at a coffee shop, I'd be in a park, pull my Jeep over and do a show right there. I never missed a show. So that was the old days, and we put a lot of time in. And now it's back to work, and it's back to work here at LWN Network. So thanks for joining us. What a great conversation tonight, Jeff, Tammy. We covered a lot of shit tonight. We've gone almost 2 hours,
wow.
And we gotta wrap it up. We're almost to 90. I don't want to quit because the X keeps climbing. We're almost up to 90 over there on the X, but I got work in the morning. I got to get up at 4:20 in the morning and get to work. So it's an early morning for me. So I'm gonna 4:20. I'm gonna give you guys an opportunity for final thoughts. So think about that for just a minute.
Yep.
As I ramble here, but damn, what a wonderful evening tonight. We've had, lots of people watching us over there on YouTube, and a lot of people have been with us for a long time. I think I saw Lori C said, "Yep, I was there in 2021 watching you guys." A lot of people following us for a long time and just been great friends, great mods, great listeners. Sharing our material out, just helping us along, supporting this channel with coffees and other things that you guys have done over the years. Really appreciate it. And Rumble, another great platform with a live chat. You guys can follow us on Rumble. I know we've got lots of people following us on Rumble. And it's just been, what a wonderful night. And I didn't want to put a time limit on it because I didn't know where this show was going to go tonight. And it's just been amazing conversation, and I know that we're gonna circle back to this quite a few times, Jeff and Tammy. We're gonna be talking about Gitmo. We're gonna be talking about the judges. We're gonna be talking about Elon. We're gonna talk about Trump. We're gonna be talking about Kash Patel. We're gonna be talking about Dan Bongino. We're gonna be talking about all those people that are in play right now. General Flynn, like so many of them, and that's why 2 hours tonight was such a great time for us to try to cover as many of them as we possibly could. So as we wrap it up tonight, Don't go anywhere yet. If you haven't hit that like button over there on the X, YouTube, or Rumble, subscribe to us. If you like this material, like our guest tonight, please consider that. Subscribe to us. More importantly, share us out on the X. Share us out on Rumble, on any of those platforms you can, on Facebook. We lost our Facebook channel due to a scam. They hijacked my shit, and so I'm going to start a new one. And yes, Saturday night we are going to be doing MTV music video Saturday night. If you haven't caught that, our 24-hour news channel is down right now. We got to do some revamp on that, and it'll be back up and running. But if you enjoy live music videos just like the old days of MTV, you should try us. Try us out Saturday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We got a live DJ in there, live chat. You can drop in chat some of your favorite artists, songs, whatever you want. We just have a good time on Saturday night. So, ladies first tonight, Tammy, with final thought, and then I always like to do Jeff the last because he'll do it and then he'll just punch out. So, what's your final thought tonight, Tammy?
Well, I think it was a wonderful night. We all needed it. I do believe it's great to be on the other side of everything. Taking all the hits that we took over the years, the censoring, the knocking off of channels, people coming at us was very well worth it. We are coming back full force here. We love this. We all love what we do. We're just trying to share the truth, find the truth with each and every one of you that join us and follow us. It is an honor and a privilege. And, I flashed back to Donald J. Trump when he was in the Oval Office, first go around his first term, and he said, "We have it all." And we kind of looked at him like, what? And people made assumptions. And then we've got the storm. The storm is going to be upon you, or whatever it was, that exact statement he said. And the reporter said, "What do you mean, Mr. President?" And he says, "You'll find out." Well, guess what? I think we're starting to find out.
Nice, Tammy. Nice. Jeff B., sir, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I know we talked about doing this weekly, and my schedule's been just hectic and just been very busy. We got to get back to a set schedule. I'm trying to do Monday evenings with Jeff B. We just haven't really had the time to nail it down in stone, but we'll get there. What's your final thought for tonight, Jeff?
I stand corrected. It wasn't Bush's funeral. Somebody pointed out it was the 9/11 ceremony. Good catch. Second of all, your guys' stuff will be on your way to you, so you can start showing off your new merch, and we can get that out to the viewers. My final thought, I was told this afternoon, watch Donald Trump very carefully at the Vatican.
Okay.
I was told history is going to repeat itself.
Holy shit.
Trump said, I'm excited to go there.
Yeah.
That was kind of a weird statement.
Yeah.
I was told history. Now, my thought is there's going to be some envelopes passed out again.
Oh, shit.
That's my guess.
Holy
But I was told
shit,
history is going to repeat itself.
That's on Saturday, right? Saturday, I think.
I think so.
That's going to be very interesting. Well, there you have it. Tammy, the Hammer Nation with her final thought. Jeff B. With his. Mine is just this. I'm going to keep it short, simple, sweet. Love you all. Thanks for joining us tonight. My final thought is please just hit that like button, man. Smash that thing. Please consider subscribing to one of our channels, whether it be over there on X, YouTube, or Rumble. If you've never joined us before or subscribed to us, do that. And more importantly, if you enjoy the content and the guests and the co-host and this live interaction with chat and the information we cover, share this out. It's easy. You just hit the little share button, send it to your family, your friends, your coworkers, people that are like-minded, people who love entertainment, people who love conspiracy, people who love truth, people who love Trump, people that hate Trump. Like, I don't give a shit. Share it out, man. Share it with the people at work. It's great to listen to this as a podcast while you're at work. You can plug that in and listen to us while you sweep the floor or whatever you do at work, and enjoy great conversation and sometimes some jaw-dropping information. Just like Jeff said, hey, watch the Vatican, watch Trump, see what happens come Saturday. I'll be watching. I think it's going to be a very interesting and a lot of fun. So with that being said, Tammy, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I know tomorrow's your day off. You won't be back until Monday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here live on X, YouTube, and Rumble. So thank you, Tammy, for that. And as we leave tonight, stick around and listen to the outro song that was written, produced for us here at LWN Network. Enjoy the music, and we'll see you on Sunday with Wolfpack Sunday.
Many times I walk the road with no end in sight and question my life. Countless times I've sacrificed and lost my way. I've been down this road before. I've struggled with the pain when it pours. No one knows how I feel when I have to start again, and there's no one there to save me. Do you know how it feels when your world is gonna end, when I don't have a friend to stand with me? I'm gonna make a comeback. I'm gonna claw my way back to the top. I'm gonna get it all back. My comeback is right there inside. Yeah, I'm gonna make a comeback and rise up this time. And look into my soul and see a graveyard, a crossroads filled with despair and defeat. Look into my eyes and see the haters call my name. Look into my soul and see redemption on its way. The demand is high, risk it all and put it all on the line. I'm gonna take my shot and never stop. I'm gonna swallow my pride and put it all on the line and rise up this time. I'm gonna make a comeback. I'm gonna claw my way back to the top. I'm gonna get it all back. My comeback is right there inside. Yeah, I'm gonna make a comeback. I'm gonna claw my way back to the top. I'm gonna get it all back. My comeback is right there inside. Yeah. I'm gonna make a comeback. I'm gonna claw my way back to the top. I'm gonna get it all back. My comeback is right there inside. Yeah, I'm gonna come